Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. Our guest this morning is Nicole Hughes, and she has the courage and the wherewithal to continue to share her family story and to talk about Levi's life. But even more than that, here's what I don't want any of us to do. I don't want any of us to set in judgment, because unless tragedy befalls your family, you never know what you would do or how you would handle it. You are handling it well. And ironically enough, when the media hit and we heard about Bode Miller and his wife, Morgan, who lost their precious Emmy, ironically, y'all lost y'all's babies on the same day.
The same exact day. And I think for both of our families, and you hit it right there where you're talking about these implications of neglect. The more I learn about drowning prevention, and I think, how did we not know? And the reality is that the stigma around drowning is the single biggest threat to drowning prevention efforts, because people think, well, that's not my problem. That's not going to happen to me. But had somebody given me 1,000 reasons why one of my kids would die, I would have picked drowning as the last.
Sure.
Because but I watch them when they're swimming; they're not going to drown. And Emmy was during a non-swim time too, and she just slipped away for seconds.
And y'all's paths came together.
Yes,
in grief.
They are extraordinary, just people in general, and hands-on parents. And we've been working with the American Academy of Pediatrics. And who are just, passionate, devoted advocates for children. And we've been able to partner with them since summer. And they just released a revised drowning policy and an entire drowning prevention toolkit. Actually, all just got released. And this was just March 15th. So not very long ago, just a few days ago.
Sure.
And we were able to speak, at their conference to pediatricians and to help sort of release this new policy, which really emphasizes drowning is 100% preventable, but you have to put the layers of protection in place. And I hate it, but Levi there were none. I didn't even know. I'd never heard of layers of protection. I didn't know drowning was the #1 cause of death.
Sure. Tell us what some of the layers of protection are and some of the things that you all have done.
One of the first, we started Levi's Legacy, which is a nonprofit devoted, obviously, to Levi and to promoting water safety. And it's actually a water guardian tag. And they can be personalized anyway. And it's just a reminder of who's watching the kids, not only when you're swimming, but even when you come back inside and there's still access to water. Thousands of people have bought these, and they'll hang them on the door. They'll deadbolt the door and hang this on it as a reminder, don't open the door, because we have small kids and there's water out there.
Right.
And so had my husband or I been wearing this, we would have still continued. I would have said, hey, tag, it's your turn, So a designated water guardian, water supervisor is really important. Swim lessons. I'm so angry at myself that I did not enroll Levi in swim lessons, but we don't have great access to quality swim lessons here. And of course, now I've learned, the importance of being able to survive. Water is not, you do not want the swim lessons that only teach you water is fun,
right,
or the swim lessons where your child's sitting on the wall in a group setting. Private lessons, especially if anybody has access to survival swim, starting at age 1. The AAP has said starting at age 1, that teaches them to roll to float. And and for what we could have been in our area is just look for private instructors even. And I know they're expensive, but
the price that we pay just to have that
of a funeral is so much more. And I not putting Levi in some lessons was one of my biggest regrets. 4-sided fencing. This Levi had access once he got out the door to go straight down the stairs. And there was a fence around the pool, but it was the 3-sided one, and it didn't there wasn't a barrier there either. So really for me, the designated supervision, the right kind of swim lessons, teaching your child to swim in weeks. It shouldn't take 2 years for your child to learn to save themselves. It should take
right
weeks or maybe 2 or 3 months,
right,
and then build on those skills. Life jackets in open water, natural water, like rivers and lakes, because teenagers are the second group most likely to drown. And it's usually in rivers, oceans, and lakes because they don't wear their life jacket. So
And so
it,
with that said, Nicole, and it's not been quite a year. June will be a year. Will the families converge, or will it be too difficult?
we're going again in June. God, that's what's going to get me choked up. We were so lucky to have these friends with us, and just they knew Levi, they knew us as parents, to have them with us on this horrible night. And so we are actually going in June, same beach. We decided for a different house, and we really, it wasn't even a consideration. My husband and I immediately said yes, we're going again,
That's
because
awesome.
either we're choosing to live or we're not. Like, this can't be. We can't let Levi's life have been one that just left despair and anger in its wake. And so we really feel like, even though he won't get to go and he won't get to crab hunt,
But he'll be right here, right?
there's this beauty that we are continuing his legacy, and choosing to live, for him. So
So what does this do for your faith?
that is a good question. There have been moments, like I said, from the very beginning, when I first found Levi in the water and I jumped in and grabbed him, and someone else was in the water with me, like I said, and I didn't know who it was. It's hard to overlook things like that. It's hard to overlook these connections that have been made, and this work with the AAP that has
American
it's
Pediatrics
the
Association?
American Academy of Pediatrics, that has really just like fallen into place. And so it's hard to think, gosh, did Levi do this? Did Levi send this person to me? Or, did Levi give us the strength to do this? I personally find it, I don't know, I struggle with accepting that God's plan was for him to die. Like, that is something I struggle with, just to be completely honest.
Sure.
I know that before this, I would have thought we all have our plan for our life. I do struggle with a plan where a 3-year-old only gets to live for 3 years, but I could see everything that's happened afterwards almost reaffirming to me that there is goodness. There is a higher power.
Yes.
This cannot just be me, and my aunt told me, she actually lost a toddler in 1973, and she said, God doesn't always cause the tragedies, but he will always send you signs to say he's sorry. And I think that is a big part of it for me.
And he is empowering you and your husband and connecting you with people like the Millers and others to spread this message, so that this won't happen to another family, hopefully, and that we will all put those measures in place before tragedy happens.
Yes, you have to have a water safety plan, before you even get there.
Absolutely. And CPR, of course, is paramount in situations like that we know, at least hands over heart CPR. I'm going to tell you, Nicole, you have done a stellar job at really sharing your heart and sharing Levi and your family and your friends. And we wish you many, many blessings on the journey to being the change that we all need to see. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we'll be checking in with you to see how things are coming. And also, when we get into midsummer, where this message needs to be loud and proud, we will continue to help you to carry the message. Thank you, Nicole.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Indeed. Stay on point, everybody. We're back right after this.